We have been having some truly spectacular weather the last couple of days. It is definitely autumn. We've just had skies just like this, blue with a few white fluffy clouds. And last night was the first night that it got like fairly cold, which was just lovely. All snuggled under all the blankets, and it was, beautiful. And I've just come outside to let Pip go to the bathroom because it's late afternoon and I've just gotten home, and I wanted to really quickly show you a few little things in the garden that have sort of occurred over the last few days since we spoke. I cannot get over how quickly everything is growing. There's always so much changing. I showed you last week this rose, this mini rose, all sort of beginning its bloom. It's the multicolored one, and it's fully bloomed now. And you can see we're getting more coming through. Another one just in there. Another one down here. Ground cover roses are looking gorgeous. You can hear all the little birds. Oh, the little bees. As I said, it is actually getting quite late in the afternoon, so everything is sort of starting to wind down. But look at the bees. Starting to wind up the day, heading back to the hive. Doing their sort of last little foraging bits. Gosh, it's very busy. And I thought I would just quickly, what I could not believe. So it was only a few days ago that we tied up this pumpkin. Look at this. So we tied it here with this piece of jute ribbon. And it was sort of around here, I think. But look at all of that growth. That was like maybe 3 days ago, 4 days ago. Look at how much it has grown. It is doing so well. I am starting to get a little bit concerned though as to how big it is actually going to get. Once I sort of start it going around here, I'll be, very interested to see how big it's going to get overall. Little beetroot seedlings that we planted are all doing well. I haven't had any of the seeds yet come up, this little row here, but as I said, it's only been about 3 or 4 days, so a little bit too soon for that. Goodness, I need to get in here and weed. Tomatoes are looking incredible. Even the spinach is starting to come back. You'll know I said maybe last week or the week before that the spinach was just being ravaged by the grasshoppers and the caterpillars, but with this cold snap in the weather, that activity has slowed down, and you can see here we're getting all this new growth, and all the new growth has sort of been left alone, which is brilliant. But the thing that I was so excited about, and I thought I must go in and get you and show you, is this. Can you see them? Look at all the little capsicums. So there's one there, and there's like 4 in there. How cute. Oh my goodness. They're so sweet. They are sort of a snack capsicum size. So maybe another couple of days and they'll be ready to harvest. They're adorable. So cute. I'm so pleased I'm going to get some cucumbers from these plants. Cucumbers tend to not love the cold weather, and as I said, we've just got quite a significant cold snap for us at this time of year. So they would not be liking that. But it's so, I was so excited. I saw them and I was like, oh my goodness, finally they're coming through. I'll be able to add my own cucumbers into my salad. Now the other little thing that I wanted to show you, would you look at this mini rose? I showed you this one the other day when it was really just sort of starting to open up and bloom, but it has fully opened up now and is looking absolutely incredible. Look at how ruffly those petals are. And it's actually quite a substantial size for a mini rose. But she is absolutely gorgeous. We've got the red ones coming through, and I've got a really beautiful sort of apricot one here as well. But this one is just the showstopper. And she's got a really beautiful, delicate rose fragrance to her. But I just, oh, gorgeous. Absolutely just gorgeous. Well, that's just a few very quick updates from the garden. I'm not sure what the weather is going to be like. I hadn't really intended to hang out with you today, so it's just going to be a very quick little section here, and then I'm going to be picking up the camera and we will spend time together tomorrow, but I'm not sure what the weather's going to be doing, so I wanted to really quickly get out here and just show you those little bits and pieces just because I was so excited to see them. And so I'd just gotten home and was like, oh my goodness. But cucumbers are so cute. And the roses. Oh, the roses. So stunning. All right, well, I'm going to leave you now for this evening, but I will pick up the camera and I will speak to you tomorrow. Well, this morning's weather was a big change from yesterday, and good morning to you. You will note I'm at a shopping centre. It is very early, so the car park is empty, as you can see, but the whole shopping centre is probably still closed, but the shop that I want to go to is opening up at 7, so it should be open now. And I've got a fair bit to do today, so I kind of just wanted to get going early, and I thought I'd bring you along. I've got a few little organisation bits and pieces that I wanted to pick up, so I thought you might find that interesting. So as I said, pretty much all the shops are still closed, but I'm just going to make my way down to Kmart. It was supposed to open at 7. And I'm doing a bit of a house organisation. So there was a few little organisation bits that I wanted to pick up. I find that spring and autumn are the 2 times of the year where I kind of like to do a big overhaul of the house and go through everything and throw bits out that I don't need, or donate things, or kind of just reorganise. So yeah, heading to Kmart now. All right, I've just come to the kitchen kind of section. I really want to reorganise the pantry just to make it more efficient. And this here is what I was looking for. So these are glass containers with bamboo lids. can see there. I just want to replace, I've got some really small glass containers and where I sort of store seeds and things, and because they're quite small, they're not very stable on the shelf. So I'm thinking to replace them with these ones. They do have smaller ones, but I think maybe it's better just to go the bigger. I will look at this and see which ones will be best, which ones are going to fit into the space the best. And as always, having a quick look in the books, seeing if there's anything good. Alright, I've got pretty much everything off my list. There was a few items that I couldn't get. So I got the glass jars that we talked about. I got 2 different sizes, and I also got this this one here, the really large one, for my flour. I find the container I've got at the moment is way too small, so I've got that. I also got this to trial. It's just an adjustable laptop stand. It was $10, and I thought just to give my laptop screen a bit of height when I'm working on it for a long period of time, and it just folds down flat, so that'll be really good storage. So I'm going to try that. And then I also got this for the pantry organisation. I thought at the back I could put some of these glass jars along the top and then have like the refills down the bottom. So we shall see how that goes, but maybe I'll film that for a video in the coming weeks, kind of reorganising the pantry, and then that way you can kind of see how this all works and whether it works. Fingers crossed it does. I will keep the receipt so I can bring things back if needs be. But yeah, so I'm done here now. I'm going to head off. I've still got to go to the butcher and the farm shop today. So I'm going to do all of that and then I'll head home. I've taken you to the farm shop with me a couple of times, and quite recently actually, so I won't take you with me today. So I will see you when I get home. Well, I am home from the shops, as you can see, and the weather today is certainly very cozy. So unfortunately it's not a garden day, as you can see, so we might have to do the gardening jobs that I had planned maybe next week, maybe next Wednesday we'll try and tackle those. But I do have a few little indoor sort of gardening bits and pieces that we can try to do today, and that will tick them off my list, which will be great. But very cozy. I also did want to just show you over here on my desk. You would have seen that this morning I bought this laptop riser. It was $10 from Kmart, and I just wanted to show you. It basically folds completely flat. I've just turned the little thing the wrong way. There we go. It folds completely flat like so. You can see. And then to unfold it, it's got different sort of levels of height, and then it has these little feet here that you can pull out, and then little sort of rubber grips in that. I have to say, for $10 I am very impressed, and it just gives my laptop that little bit more height, so the screen is sitting higher. Just so when I'm working on the computer, I'm not, hunching over the computer so much. But for $10, very happy with that. I'll link it in the description box down below in case you're looking for something as well. Just really simple, and as I said, folds flat, which is brilliant. So one of the other tasks that I wanted to do today was, you'll know, maybe a week or two ago, I was showing you I had planted up some more water plants, because the ivy that I had in here at the end of last year, unfortunately when I went overseas at Christmas, they just didn't make it. So I replanted up some water plants, and you can see I've got this one here and I've got another one on the other side, very similar, and they're just sort of in these little book boxes, and they're doing so well. So one of the things that I wanted to do today was basically refresh the water in both of these. And then I thought what we would do is, I've got 2 more pots in my bedroom here that I want to plant up with water plants. And so I thought we'd kind of do that together, just so you can kind of see what my process is. And in the event you are interested in doing something like this, you can kind of follow along. So as I said, I've got these two planted up here, and then over here I've got a spare jar, you can see. So I want to put a plant in here, and then there's another one in a different section of the bedroom that I'd like to do. So we might head off and do that first up. So I've just pulled one of the little book boxes down, and then you can just see it's got a glass jar in it with water. So I'm just going to clean out the water and sort of freshen it up a little bit, and I'll do both of the ones that are currently in there, and then we'll go and cut the next little cuttings. So the water has all been freshened up in the other two water plants, and I'm just going to grab these empty jars and do the cutting for the two new ones that I want to do. So this is the first one here, and I'll grab the second one. And then the second one is just here, in this kind of little corner in the wardrobe area. And I just thought it would add a really nice pop of green through that section. So that's the second one that I'm going to try and do. Alright, so these are the two additional. So I've got my current ones here, and I've just got my scissors, and we're going to head down. I've got one of these. I'm going to be honest, I'm not even sure what type of plant it is. If I get the right name, I'll pop it on screen. I've got one of these that it's absolutely just growing wild inside. So I'm just going to prune a few of the little sort of branches, tendrils off of that, and that will go into these two pots. All right, so this is the plant here. You can see it is very wild. You can see a little pip there with her whale. But how gorgeous are these leaves? It is very happy in this location, I think, because it gets a fair bit of light here. So what I'm going to do, I had a little bit look earlier, and I've managed to identify. So you can see there's sort of one here, and then there is another one just here. So I'm going to cut off a few of these little sections, and what I'm going to do is cut quite a long piece, and I am going to try and get, hopefully there we go. See these little things here? I think that that's what's going to grow the root system. So I'm going to try and make sure I've got a good one of those sort of towards the bottom of the cutting to be able to place in the water, in the hope that it gets its root system going quite quickly. So I'm just going to do my two little cuttings. So just to show you, I've got my secateurs. So I'm sort of thinking maybe this is a good spot here. Or is this a better one? No, I think that this is the best spot. So what I'm going to do is simply just cut it off like that. And then we'll take it back to the laundry, and what I will do is pull these lower leaves off just so that they're not in the water. We don't want the leaves to sort of contaminate the water. So that's one. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this one here. So I'm just going to try and look for a space that's got these kind of little root systems already growing on it. That's quite a good one here. So you can see it's got two little ones here. So I'm just going to cut it off down here exactly the same. And then we will head down to the laundry and place them in there. So just to show you, they're my two little tendrils there. And at the end of each one, you can see it's got this little growth here. So let's head to the laundry now, and then we're just going to tidy up these ends and remove the leaves. Alright, back in the laundry with our two little sort of cut-offs here. So as I said, what I'm going to do is just go through and very carefully try and pull off these leaves, just to give the sort of lower part of the stem, tendril, stalk, whatever you'd like to call it, sort of a clear run for when we place it in the water. So I need two hands to do that, and I don't have a tripod with me. So I'm just going to, I will come back and I will show you once I've removed some of these leaves. Okay, so you can see these are the leaves that I have removed, And then that just kind of gives us a clean sort of little bit of branching here to place into the water. So then all I'm going to do is submerge like so. And as I said, you just want to make sure that there are no leaves or anything like that. So I'm just sort of tucking it in. If you need to add more water, you can add more water. You want to make sure that it is covered, which it is. You can see in there. So that's one. And then we're just going to do the same thing with this one here. So I'm just going to twist it a little bit. Like, kind of like that. I'm wondering if I should remove this leaf. I probably should remove this one as well. Oh, it is fairly... Oh, there's two little, you can see there's one there, there's a few little ones along the bottom, and then that is that main one there, so maybe it'll be okay. I might leave it like that. And there you have it. So it is as simple as that. As I said, I think last week, this is very much just a little experiment, just to sort of see how they go. And that's them there. So this one here has a slightly less variegated leaf. It's more of a green, whereas this one has the variegation in the leaves, the white and the green, which is really beautiful. So they will add a gorgeous green pop of color into the room and just that natural element, which is great. Gosh, the rain has momentarily stopped. So I've just got Pip out here, taking her for a little break outside, but it definitely looks like it's going to start raining again. We've got a little bit of sunlight trying to peek through, but they do forecast rain today and tomorrow, I'm pretty sure. Gosh, you can hear all the parrots, goodness me. They're having a great time doing whatever it is that they're doing, foraging I suppose. But I may leave this video here for today. Gosh, I may leave this video here. It's been an assortment one, definitely. We sort of had a little bit of a garden update yesterday in the beautiful sunshine. And then today we went and we ran some errands. We went to Kmart and we picked up all those glass containers. I have washed all of those. So maybe we will do a video together, maybe next week, with me sort of reorganizing my pantry. I absolutely love to watch other people's sort of organization videos. I find it really, one, motivating, but two, also really inspiring. I like seeing how other people organize their sort of pantries or wardrobes in the event that it gives me, you know, ideas for my own home. So I will share that with you, just kind of my pantry organization and what I'm changing and things. And as I said, I will be going through for autumn and kind of refreshing the house, doing a bit of a tidy up, a bit of a clean out. I've already started, you know, washing all the blankets for winter and that kind of thing. And I'm really wanting to get into my wardrobe and start clearing out pieces that I've just not worn or, you know, sort of no longer my style, so I can donate them. And if that's something that you'd like to sort of see, if you'd like to see sort of more of those sort of, you know, organization, tidy, cleaning videos, let me know in the comments down below, and I can certainly film that kind of stuff and kind of just share my process and, you know, how I sort of sort my things in the event that it gives you some ideas for your own homes. But yes, I'm very excited to see how those water plants go. I think it'll be another few weeks, hopefully, fingers crossed, before we get some roots. And then they should be able to kind of settle into the bookcases and, you know, their various spots around the room. But I just think the water plants add that really lovely natural element, and you saw today how easy that is to do. Once you've sort of got one or two plants going and they're doing really well in your home, you can kind of just take the cuttings from them and kind of propagate from there. So as I said, I hope you have really enjoyed this one. I have really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed spending the time with you. Gosh, look at this flower here. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. All right, well, I hope you have an amazing rest of your week and that you have an incredible weekend, and I will see you next week for another new video. Bye.